9 News Plus weather sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi on this cold, cloudy, and very dreary January the 86th, aka March the 27th. It is a chilly Monday out there. The good news is we warm things on up starting tomorrow, and especially by Thursday, temps back into the 60s. But we wish we were in the 60s right now, looking outside, and it is gray, it is cold. Now for us here in Denver, the snow long over and done with. We picked up 1.4 inches of snow officially at DIA. That's pretty representative of what I saw across the city. Generally speaking, about an inch or two of snow for most of the immediate metro area. Just north of town did see some 3, 4, and even 5-inch totals. And then you get on up into Fort Collins, and that's where we saw some real deal, big time snowfall totals, some double-digit amounts. Look at that for us in Windsor, 11 inches of snow. I've seen some unofficial reports about 13, 14 inches of snow in eastern Weld and western Morgan counties. And some, I'm just telling you, somebody's going to come in with 13, 14 inches of snow officially, just looking at the radar. But point being, really big snowstorm. And for us here in Denver, we just missed getting in on a pretty significant snowstorm. Now for us here in Denver, that 1.4 inches of snow brings us up to 46.7 inches of snow so far this season. That is just a tick above the season to date average. In terms of those overall weather headlines, the snow does continue for us north and east of the city, well north and east of the city now, north and east of Fort Morgan. It is cold and cloudy otherwise, but the sun returns tomorrow. That said, tonight it's going to be a chilly one. Temperatures right now just 30 degrees for us officially at DIA. Southeast Colorado, a bit more sunshine, so we're into the 40s out that way. Mostly talking about 20s and 30s for us into the high country. One cold spot though at 10,600 feet, our friends in Leadville, a little bit on the chilly side out there at, again, 10,000 plus feet in elevation. Winter storm warning continues for the next hour or so for parts of northeast Colorado. That's in red, eastern Weld as well as Morgan County and western Washington County, as well as on up into Logan County. That's where we do have those winter storm warnings. And then the far eastern plains from Julesburg on south through Burlington, that's where we do have those winter weather advisories until 6 o'clock. Again, that's where that snow will hold on the longest. HD Doppler radar, boy, would you look at that. That is quite the kind of stunning shot there from the northeastern plains. Kind of closer looking. Notice that just well-defined area low pressure almost looks like a hurricane of sorts out there moving its way through I-70 far eastern Colorado and Kit Carson County. What that is we've got a pretty sharp temperature differential that's kind of making this area low pressure stronger and stronger. So that's why there's that really distinct and noted spin out there on the eastern plains approaching Burlington, Colorado. Again, pretty rare to see an area low pressure that well wrapped on up, but that's what we're seeing right now out there on the far eastern plains. Now that area low pressure will spin its way into Kansas and Nebraska in the next couple of hours. By 10 o'clock tonight, basically everybody statewide looking at clear skies. That will allow those temperatures to get down to pretty cold levels. Kind of got the perfect, I'll have more of this here in just a second when I look at the low temperatures, but clear skies, light winds, and fresh snowpack. That means it's going to be a very, very cold evening, even though we are officially in spring, and it's the final few days of the month of March. Just showed you those temperatures. High so far today. Look at these 30s and 40s for most of us here across the eastern plains. Again, very cold. We're about 30 degrees below our season to date average here in Denver in terms of that average high temperature. Now for tonight, I mentioned we have that combination of relatively light winds, still a little bit breezy at times, but still relatively light winds, but more importantly, clear skies and that fresh snowpack. That is what you look for in terms of that potential for really cold temperatures, and that's what we've got likely in store for us for tonight, dropping down to the low to mid-teens for us. Now tomorrow, it's a bit more like it, right? Back up near 50 degrees, lots of sunshine, light winds. After a very cold start, we should get those temperatures back up closer to what we might expect for the final few days of the month of March. Highs for us on the eastern plains for tomorrow, 40s, 50s for the most part. And in the mountains, it is notably and considerably warmer tomorrow compared to today. Ridge of high pressure builds in, and we'll get more of that sunshine. That should allow those temperatures to rebound pretty nicely, and it does, if you're lucky enough to be skiing tomorrow, looks to me like a bluebird day. Now that 7-day forecast, if you don't think tomorrow's a bluebird day, don't worry. The rest of the week, pretty warm with the exception of Friday. We do get back into the 60s for us on the Eastern Plains, including Denver area on Thursday. Then we're down into the 40s for a high on Friday with a rain-snow mix possible for us. At this point, the bulk of that system is going to stay well to our north. It doesn't look like a big deal at this point. Then the weekend ahead looks fantastic. And then early next week, that may be our next storm system to watch for, next notable storm system, but it's still a full week out. So we'll get you more details as we get a bit closer to it. Meantime, since Friday, look at this in Fort Collins. We picked up 13 inches of snow. Fort Collins, we've had back-to-back 5-6 inch snowstorms up there going back to, again, Friday. You might remember Thursday night, Friday morning. Here in Denver, we picked up 1 or 2 inches of snow. Fort Collins got 4 or 5 inches of snow. Then today, we picked up 8.8 inches officially at Fort Collins. And by the way, today, Fort Collins' snowiest day in over 2 years. You got to go back to the Pi Day blizzard of 2021 for the last time Fort Collins had as much as 8 inches of snow in a single day. Now, I mentioned this for Fort Collins. About a week ago, we were about 15 inches in Fort Collins behind our season-to-date average. You basically entirely wiped out that deficit with this one storm alone. Most of us here along the I-25 corridor right around our season-to-date averages in terms of snowfall. So great news. Fort Collins was the one spot that was really well behind in terms of that season-to-date snowfall. We basically made up that differential with this one storm alone. So good news. And on that front, that said, still definitely got a bit more in the way of some snow for the Northeast Plains. And for us here along the Front Range, it's just kind of cold and cloudy, but it does start to warm back up for your day tomorrow. And it'll stay pretty mild for the rest of the week, exception being Friday. A little bit of rain and snow back into the picture. Temperatures topping out in the upper 40s for Friday as well. That'll do it for me. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin with an update for you coming up at 4 and 5 right here on 9 News. And then meteorologist Danielle Grant in at 6, 9, 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Stay warm out there and have a great rest of your Monday.